Hello, this is the news on NTA International. I'm Nancy Godi Angonihu, and on sign language is Shegun Ajayi. We begin with the headlines. Chief of Defense Staff engages heads of security and intelligence agencies to review operational strategies in South. Nigeria repatriates 190 citizens from United Arab Emirates. And just as EU Parliament re-elects Roberto as president, Paul Kagame wins fourth term as Rwandan president. The federal government has repatriated 190 Nigerians from the United Arab Emirates. The returnees were received at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by a combined team of federal government officials, which includes the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission, NITCOM, Ministry of Health, Nigeria Immigration Service, NAPTIP, Refugee Commission, and NIMC. The returnees were profiled and documented by the relevant agencies and sensitized to behave with decorum and responsibility on their return to Nigeria. The federal government urges all Nigerians, wherever they may be, to act as exemplary ambassadors of their country, upholding the fundamental values of patriotism, rule of law, decency, and integrity. Roberto Metsola has been re-elected as president of the European Parliament in a decisive vote on Tuesday. The European Parliament was officially constituted on Tuesday in Strasbourg, France, following the European elections held on 6 up to 9 June. Kolo Mohammed brings us details on the process of voting of the new parliamentary president.
The president was elected in the first session by 720 members of parliament who will serve for 5 years in the 10th legislative term. Metsola, the European People's Party EPP candidate, won with an absolute majority and was re-elected as European Parliament president after voting against Spanish member of parliament Ari Montero of the Left group. Prior to her re-election, Roberto Metsola, as outgoing president, presided over the opening of the session, which was followed by an announcement of candidates for presidency of the parliament. The vote, a secret paper ballot, took place immediately after the opening. Both candidates, Ari Montero and Roberto Metsola, ahead of the vote, delivered brief statements to plenary. To be elected president, a candidate needs an absolute majority of valid votes cast of 50% plus 1. If no candidate is elected in the first round of voting, the same or other candidates can be nominated for a second round under the same conditions. A third round may take place if necessary, again with the same rules. If none of the candidates are elected in the third round of voting, the two candidates with the most votes in the third round will proceed for the fourth round and final round of voting, in which the candidate receiving the most votes wins. In this case, Roberto Metsola secured 562 votes out of 699, and Montero received 69 votes, demonstrating widespread support for her across the EU. In its 10th term, the European Parliament will have 720 seats, 15 more than the end of the previous legislature. 54% of members were newly elected. In 2019, the share of newcomers was 61%, and share of women is 39%. Lena Schilling from Austria, 23 years old, is the youngest member, while Luca Orlando from Italy, 7 years old, is the oldest. The average age of members of parliament is 50. At the beginning of the 10th term, there were 8 political groups, one more than the previous legislature. 33 members of parliament remain non-attached. Kolo Muhammad, NTA.
Still talking election, Rwandan President Paul Kagame has won re-election to serve as president of Rwanda for a fourth term. Kolo Mohammed again reports.
Rwandan President Paul Kagame gears up for a fourth term after winning 99.15% of votes, according to partial results from an election where only 2 challenges ran against him. The outcome of Monday's poll was never in doubt, with Kagame as incumbent. Early result issued by the Electoral Commission 7 hours after polls closed showed that Kagame had won 99.15% of the vote, even more than the 98.79% he got in the last poll 7 years ago. Democratic Green Party candidate Frank Habineza could only muster 0.53%, and independent Philippe Mpaimana 0.33%, according to results issued with 79% of ballots counted. In an address from the headquarters of his ruling Rwandan Patriotic Front (RPF), the 66-year-old thanked Rwandans for giving him another 5 years in office, saying together the problems in Rwanda can be solved. With 65% of the population aged under 30, Kagame is the only leader most Rwandans have ever known. Kagame is credited with rebuilding a traumatic nation after the 1994 genocide. Over 9 million Rwandans, including 2 million first-time voters, were registered to cast their ballot, with the presidential race being held simultaneously as legislative elections for the first time. In Kigali's Nyabugogo market, shoppers were unbit and almost surprised by the result. They say the reason he gets such high votes, which should be 100%, is because Rwandans love him. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
Now, hundreds of anti-government protesters took to the streets of Kenya demanding President William Ruto's resignation. Here again is Kolo Mohammed with details.
Tuesday's demonstrations spanning from the capital, Nairobi, to southern coastal town of Mombasa are the latest round of unrest since government planned tax hikes prompted mass anger in mid-June. Police fired tear gas in city center, trying to stop any crowds from forming. In the nearby town of Kitengela, where some 200 protesters burnt tires and chanted "Ruto must go," at least one person was killed. In Mombasa in the south, more protesters marched waving palm fronds demanding President William Ruto's resignation. Kenyan activists seem unmoved by Ruto's concession to ask the $2.7 billion in planned tax hikes to ease the initial protests. They are threatening a total shutdown of the country. Kenyans are frustrated by years of stagnating wages, and corruption seems worse than ever. The demonstration that started peacefully last month have turned violent, with some protesters briefly storming the parliament, where police opened tear gas. Kolo Muhammad, NTA.
Côte d'Ivoire has begun vaccinations against malaria, the leading cause of death of children in that country, as the government added malaria vaccine to the list of routine vaccinations for children. The West African country became the first to start rolling out the newest shot, targeting about 250,000 children under the age of 2. The country's health minister, Pierre Demba, said the decision is geared towards protecting and promoting the well-being of children who are the country's future. The 3-dose vaccine, R21 Matrix M, was developed by Britain's Oxford University and was authorized by the World Health Organization in October last year. The Nigerian Senate Committee on Finance has met with heads of key ministries and agencies of government as it seeks more effective strategy to revamp the economy. National Assembly correspondent Lamiale reports.
This meeting between the legislature and executive is crucial, as both are determined to formulate and inject right prescription to put Nigeria's economy on a steady growth trajectory. The Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited brought with him some good news. Nigeria's main revenue-earning commodity, the crude oil, is set to hit 2 million barrels per day production level.
And we're very optimistic that by December this country will be net exporter. That means combination of production coming from us and also from the Dangote refinery and other smaller producing companies that we know are in line to do this.
I've come to realize that the easiest way for Nigeria to come out of its economic problems is through the oil and gas sector.
The custodian of the nation's treasury, the Central Bank of Nigeria, points to rising inflation and foreign exchange rate fluctuations as areas of concern, but that these two, according to emerging indicators, will be moving downwards.
We cannot delink ourselves from the larger global economy, and some of these challenges are what other economies, both developed and developing, are going through at the moment.
From the Minister of Budget and National Planning comes the assurance that government is working to avoid disruptions as it implements the 2024 budget.
Negotiations with the Nigerian Labour Congress has been ongoing to ensure that there is no further disruption in the economy. Interventions to support the vulnerable and the weak have been ongoing.
We have had negativities in the economy, and now we are trying to bring the positivities to work.
The lawmakers and policymakers re-echoed appeals to Nigerians to support government as it strategizes to keep the economy on track. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu's commitment to democracy and visionary leadership, encapsulated in the 8-point Renewed Hope agenda, has inspired confidence and trust among Nigerians, promising a new era of hope despite the present situation in the country. This is coming at a civil society town hall meeting put together by the Private and Public Development Center on the first year of President Bola Tinubu's administration. Hamman Jabani reports.
The first year of President Tinubu's administration saw the implementation of bold reforms to stabilize the economy that includes withdrawal of the unsustainable fuel subsidy, unification of the forest market, redirection of funds to critical sectors like healthcare, education, and infrastructure that so reduced petroleum importation by 50% and boosted investors' confidence, made the Nigerian Stock Exchange the top performing globally. The convergence of these civil society groups is aimed at analyzing all this and create engagement for better service delivery.
Put these findings together and send our recommendations to the President and his administration, hoping that our voices will count and some of our findings will be taken into action to promote better administration and governance in the next 3 years of this administration.
The budget shows a lower debt risk. That is, 68% of the budget is not going to be financed by any debt. So that's about 70%. So he's saying that, so this is the first time we are having that. It's always been high.
Senior Special Assistant to the President on Citizenship and Leadership, Rinsola Abiola, said President Tinubu loves engagement with civil societies and believe in principles of good governance, while committed to improving the lives and living conditions of Nigerians.
This is not a government that wants to place a burden on Nigerians. This is not a government that wants to make things difficult for our people. But it's just very important that certain decisions that we ought to have made quite a while back, it's important that we make those decisions. And we're trying as hard as we can to ensure that, we're doing what we can to cushion the effect of those policies. And we're very hopeful that in no time at all, we'll begin to see the positive effects of these policies on the economy and on our people generally.
It is believed that Tinubu's administration has illustrated resolve to increase transparency, efficiency, and public trust in governance. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Nigerian Air Force AH-1Z attack helicopters purchased by the federal government remain on track. This assurance was given during the first program management review meeting to track supply of the choppers. The AH-1Z helicopters will boost NAF's close air support and ground attack capabilities, enhancing its modernization efforts. The helicopters will also bolster the NAF's firepower and operational capabilities, particularly in counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations. The AH-1Z helicopters are also expected to have a significant impact on Nigeria's ability to tackle security challenges and ensure the safety of its citizens. The successful implementation of the program management review will ensure a smooth transition and provide technical guidance to the NAF. This is news on NTA International. We take a break now.
This season, enjoy all the better moments with GoTV. Yeah. Football party GoTV, they give you better deal of decoder plus GoTenor for only 19,900 naira. Make you enjoy correct football action live on Top Super Sport. GoTV, love it.
Thank you for staying with us. As directed by President Bola Tinubu, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, engages heads of security and intelligence agencies to review operational strategies in the South-South to curb security threats and improve oil production. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who was at the Defense Headquarters, venue of the crucial engagement, has more.
Crude oil is Nigeria's dominant source of revenue. Despite the importance of these resources, Nigeria loses trillions of naira to crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism. In March 2023, for instance, Nigeria lost 65.7 million barrels of crude to oil theft. Worried by this unpatriotic act, President Bola Tinubu directed the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, to review operational strategies in the Niger Delta.
Oil thefts and vandalism have become a major national issue. We do have line of sight around what must be done, what should be done. Mr. President has directed the CDS to ensure that we contain this within the shortest frame of time so that we can restore national production to the level that Mr. President and our country is expecting. And to do this, it needs the coordination and cooperation of all armed forces.
What we are promising Nigerians is that henceforth, the entire South will be cleared of any acts of vandalism, criminality within the general area. The President has given us a mandate to ensure that we secure the entire South and to enable NNPC and other IOCs carry out the attack so that we can have improved production. We're going to work together as a team. All the operations will be harmonized.
We accept that we have challenges, and we accept that we must all come together to solve these problems. So we need the cooperation of everybody. All agencies are collaborating. We need the cooperation of members of the public.
The Chief of Defense Staff stressed that results will manifest in 3 months. From the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
With the cooperation of market women and other traders in the country, efforts by the current administration to address current hike and the prices of commodities will soon yield results. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, stated this during a visit to the Oba of Lagos, Oba Ridwan Akiolu, at his palace. She says the challenges confronting the economy, though daunting, are not insurmountable and are already receiving sincere attention from government. Appreciating the Oba of Lagos and other traditional institutions in the country for their support, the First Lady encouraged Nigerians not to despair but to continue to pray for the leaders. Oba Akiolu, while praying for the success of the current administration, applauded the First Lady for her support, citing her numerous interventions in promoting social security in the country. The monarch called for more reforms in tax administration and admonished Nigerian youths to abstain from drug abuse. The First Lady was accompanied on the visit by wives of state governors in the South-West. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, faces a challenge to ensure effective service delivery and eradicate corruption in the agency. This was during the unveiling of an anti-corruption policy and code of ethics in the agency. Musa Baba Aliyu was there.
The primary responsibility of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, is to watch weather changes and alert the public. While they carry out that duty, they are also being watched to ensure that all the information given to the public are not distorted. This is the reason for the establishment of anti-corruption, bribery, and code of ethics units in the agency.
The anti-corruption and bribery policy, on the other hand, is a firm declaration of NIMET's zero-tolerance stance against corruption. This position is vital, as corruption is not only capable of undermining the effectiveness of our services and realization of our goals, but also erode public trust in the critical work that we do.
Representative of ICPC Chairman Clement Obaniyi said the Anti-Corruption Agency has its searchlights on all government agencies.
Kudos to the team, because it shows that they know what they are doing. And it will also enhance the image of NIMET in our rating of organizations.
In the meantime, NIMET advised Nigerians to take precautions as the country continues to experience heavy rainfall. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And the need to promote safe delivery for women in rural communities has become imperative in view of the high cases of maternal mortality. Some key players in the health sector emphasize this at a dialogue with dwellers on Yemitu community of the Federal Capital Territory. Francis Udojo reports.
Considering the increase in the number of unwanted pregnancies, maternal and child mortality rate, Rotary Club International, in collaboration with Waru Primary Health Care, says social mobilization and awareness campaigns through dialogue is a solution to the problem.
We understand quite a number of women who prefer to deliver at home, and we say no, because delivering at home happens with a lot of risk. And so we do dialogue with them to encourage them, make informed decisions to go to the health facility and deliver in the care of a skilled birth attendant.
In this village, I see many women, they give birth every year. So it makes me to feel bad because some, they will leave the child anyhow. It's not proper.
I guess some women, where elderly women like this, where when labor start, they will say stay at home. But like me, comfort like this, I'm not staying at home because I see many things they happen with my sisters when they stay at home. When they born finish, they will start bleeding.
Chief Midwife of the Rotary Production, Maternal and Child Mortality Health, Hannatu Dong, said major reasons for holding the dialogue is to encourage pregnant women to go for regular antenatal care.
We are sensitizing them on how to take care of themselves and how to also take care of the fetus that is inside the uterus. That is why we do this dialogue. And we have been getting results.
So we are very happy for it, and it's a good development.
The Rotary Club promised to extend similar sensitization campaigns to other rural communities in Abuja. Francis Udojo, NT News.
A new media outfit, the Global Television, is visiting the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, to seek support and collaboration as a big brother in the industry, especially in the areas of programming. Dennis Temple reports.
The Nigerian Television Authority usually engages with the public where issues of mutual interest are discussed. One of such meetings is the one between Global Television and the management of NTA. Ibrahim Biu is the Chief Executive Officer of the Global Television. He says NTA is a national television station that has a global network with which everybody reckons with. Therefore, their visit is aimed at synergizing with the organization and to tap from its ways of experience and professionalism.
NTA is a very important organization in this country, particularly in media industry. No private station in Nigeria that can come without coming to NTA for support, for assistance, for cooperation, and other logistics that can help us. Training is there. Marketing strategies is there.
The Executive Director News of the NTA, Ayo Adoyi, describes NTA as an organization that operates an open-door policy. Hence, its doors are opened to members of the public, including the Global Television, especially in its quest on current affairs programs.
There are rules, standard broadcast rules that must be followed. I want to enjoin you to toe that path, because that is what has been sustaining the NTA, and since we came in, we have tried as much as possible to rekindle that professionalism that NTA is known for, in line with global best practices.
Global Television is a new media outfit that's expected to begin transmission in the coming days on the Star Times platform on Channel 265. In Abuja, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
The Senate and House of Representatives Tuesday suspended plenary and other parliamentary activities to mourn the death of Representative Ekene Abubakar Adams, who died in the early hours of Tuesday at the age of 39. Until his death, Ekene Adams represented Chiku Kaduru Federal Constituency from Kaduna State and was the Chairman House Committee on Sports. Lawmakers in both chambers of the National Assembly observed a minute silence as a mark of respect for the late lawmaker. The presiding officers expressed shock at losing another lawmaker 6 days after the death of Representative Olaide Akinremi of Oyo State.
Involved in generating support and funding for Nigerian Olympians at the forthcoming Paris Olympics. In fact, the House was meant to receive the Nigerian delegation today before the tragic news of his passing reached us.
The sudden demise of Honorable Adams occurred at the early hours of today, 16th day of July, 2024, after a prolonged illness. Because of this tragedy, the Senate will not continue proceedings today.
General Manager of Remo Stars Football Club in Ogun State, for contesting and winning the House of Reps election on the platform of the Labour Party in 2023. He becomes the 4th member to pass on in the life of the 10th House of Representatives. In the same vein, President Bola Tinubu commiserates with the National Assembly and the Kaduna State government over the passing of Ekene Abubakar Adams, a lawmaker representing Chikun Kaduru, Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, in the House of Representatives. The president also extends his condolences to the family and friends of the lawmaker, urging them to find solace in the Almighty and in the legacy of the deceased. President Tinubu also prays for the repose of the soul of the departed lawmaker. And now a quick look at Wednesday's weather forecast. That's it on the news. Shegun Ajayi has been on sign language, and I'm Nancy Godiangonihu. Thank you for watching.